Vanakkam and welcome to Reeling In, the show by Cinema Express. This is Avinash Ramachandran. Today we have with us the actor of Cold Case, Aditi Balan. Welcome to the show, Aditi.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. When you look at the trailer of Cold Case, we have a faint idea of what's happening. There is Prithviraj playing the cop, there's a child who can see murder, there's a clairvoyant. Where exactly do you fit into all of these things, Aditi?
So I play a role of an investigative journalist,
Right.
and that baby is my baby.
Right.
So in the script, both of us have, Prithviraj has a parallel track of his investigation and I have my track of investigation. And then we meet at a point which is pretty much the turning point of the film.
So in the Cold Case, there's a supernatural element to the film. So do you actually believe in the supernatural?
No, not at all. Which is why this film was a challenge for me, because I am not really, I don't believe in it and I don't really get scared of it. So that was a challenging point. To emote something that you don't believe in is like a challenge, right? So I pretty much took up the film. Yeah.
So how is it to work in a film that has completely opposing ideals to your own belief system?
Yeah, it was that. That's exactly what it was, a challenge. So you have to emote where you don't see anything, but you see something.
Right.
So that is actually a challenge, and you never know how much of that meter of your acting is enough. Like if you're getting scared, but for a horror film, you have to make that impact of getting scared. So that was a task, and I hope it's come out well.
So you're doing one other film in Malayalam. There's one more film coming in Telugu. Then after a gap of 3 years, you did a few anthologies in Tamil. So is there something going in your head that you want to just go on and do films in all languages?
Yeah, I pretty much want to do multiple films in multiple languages. But I've been a huge fan of Malayalam films. So my first step was into Malayalam. And then slowly other languages. And I ideally want to dub and learn languages and do different films in different languages. So let's hope it works.
So you did 2 back-to-back Tamil anthologies before doing a feature films in Malayalam and also doing it in Telugu. So I remember you telling in an interview that you had to relearn few things of being in front of the camera. So was it easier to first do an anthology, a shorter format before moving on to a feature film? What was the process all about?
More than relearn, it was again me. There was a long gap. Otherwise, I have to get used to the camera and I have to break my consciousness and that wall, right? So that was it. And it's not like a long process. Maybe the first day of shoot was a little new to me, but after that it went pretty smooth. And when you get into the groove of it, it works fine. So, and most often, I believe I am a director person. So if whatever the director asks me, I have to deliver. That's how I look at it. So as long as you have trust in the team and your director, you're fine.
So there's this thing in cinema about being out of sight and out of mind, and people still tend to believe in those things. And you two have not exactly been in the thick of things after Aruvi. So did the industry have this kind of belief that if we go and give a script to Aditi, she might not really accept it? Was there a barrier of that sorts to cross?
I did have to. A lot of people did tell me that if they got me scripts, I would say no. But I would like to differ in that, because it's not me saying no to scripts. It's me not wanting to do similar characters. I didn't want to be stereotyped. So I wanted different kinds of roles. And I always believe the script is the main thing in any film. So I have to really believe in the script for me to give my entire effort, like 100%. So I think that the 3 years in between, one, I was trying to figure the kind of films that I wanted to do. Two, I didn't want to be stereotyped, so I was looking out for different roles. So whichever interesting script came to me, and that was 2 scripts in Malayalam, I jumped into it. My Tamil was more working with the team, Vijay Sethupathi sir, Nalan sir. That entire combo is what attracted me. But Malayalam cinema in general gives importance to scripts, right? So that's something I really appreciate in Malayalam cinema. So I got the opportunity, barged in straight.
Was there a sense of insecurity of sorts, considering the gap that happened after what can, safely be said a dream debut of sorts?
I wouldn't say it was an insecurity. It was more of a pressure, because you've kind of set one standard, and then also because I'm comparatively new to the industry. I'm not really aware of things that like how it works, right? So
Right.
the first film was just like a sudden, like one shot it went up. I didn't even expect it.
Right.
So it was not an insecurity, but it was a lot of responsibility and pressure on me to figure out what I want to do next, you know?
So, from a film like Aruvi, where the entire responsibility was on your shoulders, you're now moving into a film like Cold Case, which has a huge star like Prithviraj starring opposite you. So, how is it to navigate these two kind of films? So, what is your approach while going into a film that doesn't necessarily have you shouldering all the responsibility?
Yeah, so most often people think that because I've done a film where I am the lead of the film, I wouldn't want to do other kind of films with small characters.
Right.
That's not the case because I think script is important and all these characters play small roles in the script, right? So it doesn't really matter for me if the character is like a lengthy screen time character or a short character. It's only about the importance of the character and what that character does in a script. So I didn't really think too much into any of this when I read the script because I knew Prithviraj sir had one track, I had a track, but irrespective of both the tracks, it was the script, the genre of both horror and thriller being like the main special thing in Cold Case, which brought me in the project.
You're now playing an investigative journalist in the Cold Case, and in your previous career before cinema, you were a lawyer. So, was there anything from that profession that came in handy while tackling this role?
I am not sure if law helped me, but I have, as a person, I'm a very inquisitive. Like I'm very curious to find things. Puzzle solving is something. So, see, childhood, I had a lot of different dreams that I want to do this. Out of which detective was one of it. So because I have that thing for wanting to do things and solve things. So that way, it was a little easier in the script. But law per se, no. I don't really think. I didn't even think in the angle of, I can use these aspects of law.
So probably the most asked question to you would be about that 3-year space between Aruvi and the next film. The whys, the hows, the whens, the wheres, the which, whatever you want to ask about the question. Do you actually have one answer for everything? Because you must be tired answering these questions. So do you have actually one answer for people asking you about this gap?
It seems like a long gap for people, but for me, it was just a gap for me to learn new things and understand cinema, maybe. That's it. It's not, I don't see it as a gap. I see it as a time period for me to learn things and, figure out what I want to do in the cinema space. Not like I've figured out completely, but like at least it gives me the time to rethink things.
Yeah.
And you're next doing a film in Telugu, Shakuntalam, which is a completely different genre. Then you have Padavettu, which also gives completely different vibes to what you're doing in Cold Case. So is that something, a very conscious thing you do, that you don't want to repeat yourself in the roles you're doing?
Somewhere, my biggest fear is I don't want to seem repetitive in any of the films. So be it my look wise, be it my language, be it, actually doing a new language gives me a better, it's an advantage because your dialogue delivery also differs, changes when you're in a different language. So then for me, I just wanted, like, whatever films I've done, I want people to not being able to recognize, this is the same girl who did that. Like, I want difference in the characters. So somewhere, yes, it was conscious effort choosing these scripts, but it was also some of the scripts that interest me, so I just took it up.
So it is said that there is no good actor out of a job thanks to OTT. And considering you're doing both feature films and digital content, so how was it to find your feet in both these mediums simultaneously? And how do you see the evolution of cinema and OTT and them coexisting with each other?
I think OTT is great because the kind of content that's been chosen right now in different OTT platforms is so wide. And when it comes to series, you have so much independence and freedom to do like an 8 episode. So you have a lot more stories and script writing in it. So it's a great place to be in. Having said that, I think but horror and thriller kind of a subject is something that you have to watch in the theater for the effect of it. But in this challenging time, I guess that's the only thing you have. So I mean, even without a pandemic, I think OTT is a great space to be in. You have different kinds of films which will come in your theater and in your OTT. So it gives more avenues for actors. But right now, the best option is to go for an OTT. So when we did Cold Case, we didn't really think that it's going to be released on an OTT. We thought it was going to be released in the theater, but considering the situation, it's coming out on OTT, and which I think is only an advantage because like they're releasing it in 240 countries. So I think there's a wider audience that it's reaching. So it's great for me. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it.
But there's this point where people are saying, post Aruvi, Aditi is only doing Tamil anthologies. People are just not getting enough of you. They're missing you in the, longer format.
I also miss being on the long format, yes. It so happened that I got 2 anthologies. Like the Kutti story was purely the theme that I went for. I didn't really, and even that wasn't planned to actually be released in the theater as such. Correct. It's not on any OTT. I just took it up because it was Vijay Sethupathi sir and then Nalan sir. I loved the team and I took it up. Navarasa, and then it happened again. I can't say no to one. It's Maniratnam sir's production and it's Vasan sir's direction. It so happened that I couldn't say no, and it's a great script. Like I had to act with Delhi Ganeshan sir, so that was a great experience. So it was more experience-based projects that I picked up. Not that I don't want to do feature films. Of course, I want to do. I would love to do if something interesting comes my way.
And the roles we're speaking about are mostly, these intense roles that you're kind of known for. But are there films that you just want to, take up a light-hearted film that lets you put your feet up and have a lot of fun?
I would love to. It's my dream to do a comedy film. Like right. I'm just waiting for someone because in real life, I think like I'm some kind of a like when Jolly Go person who's like comedy panikil character.
Wonderful.
So, but everyone looks at me in a very intense, serious role where it's crying and it's like serious characters, and I'm like, please. Anybody who's looking for roles which like comedy aspect, please think of me.
Yes.
I genuinely hope people do it.
Yeah.
So I strongly believe Aruvi was an important film in Tamil cinema, especially for women-fronted films, considering how the filmmaker was new, the actor was new, it came out of nowhere and bam, it had such an important impact. So considering you have been outside cinema and been looking at how the evolution of women-fronted films have been post Aruvi, how do you see the whole idea of people writing better characters, and do you see an evolution of better written women roles, and is the idea of leading lady changed?
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't say Aruvi was the changing point, because I think even much before that there were like you had Muppatari Vaidinile with Jyotika ma'am, and you had I think Taramani with Andrea. Was all of these are basically characters written for females were a little more stronger than usual, and that evolution is happening, and it is happening for the good.
Yeah.
It's going to keep improving, I guess, so that actors like us and other my fellow co-actors are lucky enough to get such scripts. Yes.
So one final question. What next, Aditi? Do we see more of you in Telugu? Do we see more of you in Malayalam, Tamil, or in all languages? What next?
All languages. I'm just hoping that directors who are seeing this can see and call me for all languages. Like, given a chance, I'll do one Oriya, one Bengali, one Kashmiri, like, anything. But I just want good character roles. I mean, I just want good scripts with good roles.
And I hope filmmakers listen to what you've said and give you quite funny comedic roles too, and not just, give you these intense roles,
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Avinash.